Welcome to Mormon Book Reviews, or an evangelical encounters the restoration. Boy, has this been quite a trip. We're just wrapping things up, and we are in a ward house, meeting house.
Meeting house, yeah.
All right, in Orem, Utah. And we thought, let's have Rebecca ask me a few questions about this wild and crazy trip that we've had. And so just fire away, because I'm really tired. I can't even think of questions, but I can come up with answers.
I think Steve is finally fading, and we have found ourselves here in this meeting house in Orem because we're listening to the Debra Bonner Unity Gospel Choir.
That's right.
And they're sort of doing their choir business right now, and then we're going to go back in and we're going to hear them sing some songs.
Yeah.
So we thought in the meantime, we'd duck into a classroom, and maybe I would ask Steve about his trip here. So he's been here for a little over a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
You arrived here on Wednesday.
It's been like 9 days.
It's a blur. It's been 9 days. Oh my
9
gosh.
days, yeah.
So tell me, when you first, you've set out, what did you think would happen? What were you hoping you would gain from coming here?
Well, I was hoping to produce content. I was hoping to go on shows, and I was able to. Actually, there are a couple that I was supposed to go on that are going to be at a different time. For instance, the BYU Radio with Stephen Cat Perry.
Stephen Cat Perry, yep. That's going to happen
in Good
later.
Faith. And then Randy Bell, the PTSD one that he has, Post-Traumatic Thriving. We're going to actually do something later. So I was able to get together with Randy and stay at his place. He's a really cool guy. So I stayed at his condo for most of the time I was here, which really saved on the hotel bills, as you might imagine. But one of the biggest
Randy's
things,
awesome.
there were two big things that were happening. One was we came up with this little idea a few months ago, I think last fall, about doing a movie screening for the Return of Elder Pingree, a memoir of a departed Mormon. And nobody really had heard about it. You, of course, discovered it. And then I thought, okay, I rented the movie, watched it with my mom. We both thought it was a really good movie. It made me cry. I thought it was very thoughtful and very faith-promoting in many ways, too. Yeah. And so we packed out a theater on Monday the 13th.
Can I just say, we had the capacity of 151 seats. And we thought, okay, we can add some chairs if we had to. We had 150 people.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely packed to capacity.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
And it was pretty remarkable. And I thought it was everything it was going to be. As a matter of fact, you were all like a nervous wreck.
I was
like,
okay, maybe not a wreck, but I was nervous. Yeah, just about the logistics. I knew the film was amazing.
Yeah.
I knew that, but I was worried about how many people. And Stephen is a consummate professional, and he definitely told me it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, and it was.
That's right, and it was. It turned out well. But part of the reason why it turned out so well is because she worried about it a lot about too. So
that's true. After the scenes, there's a little give and take there. You're
exactly.
right. You're right.
So it turned out really well. We got tremendous positive responses from people. It was what made the event so beautiful was it was a room full of evangelicals, true blue Mormons, ex-Mormons, atheists, never Mo's, Mormon fundamentalists, and members of the LGBTQ community. And I was thinking about it. It's a Monday night, the day after the Super Bowl, the day before St. Valentine's Day. Yeah. It was probably one of the bigger public events in Salt Lake City that evening. Yeah. And it's pretty amazing to think that less than 2 years ago, nobody heard of either one of us. Mm-hmm. We kind of found each other and connected. And now we've built something really cool. And so that was a really awesome thing. Why don't you just comment on that a little bit, too, about how you felt it went?
Yeah, well, like you said, I was nervous. But once the movie started, everything was good. And the thing that to me just was so notable is that afterwards, like, people didn't leave. They wanted to stay and talk. They spilled out into the bar area.
And then not only that, but the Q&A, everybody stayed.
Everybody
Credits
stayed for the
rolled.
Q&A. Yeah.
Everybody stayed for the
true.
Q&A too.
That's true. And then you just saw all these conversations starting. Like you said, unlikely pairings of people talking that maybe would never have encountered each other or talked before, and talked for hours. I mean, you just looked at all these little pods all around the bar area because it's a movie theater in a bar, which is cool. You got to eat and have a beverage, but yeah, just everybody talk. Like, we closed the place down and I said, oh, look, there's Nan and Rod Osborne, and look, they're talking to that. Well, though they're fundamental, that is, there were just so many unlikely pairings.
We actually had a September 6th member show up briefly.
We had just everyone.
Yeah.
So just with this common theme of this film, which was all about love and reconstructing, deconstructing experiences. And so, it was, I'm still just kind of glowing on the inside from it. I think we're both kind of tired from it. But, and a lot of people said, when's the next one? I heard that and I thought, oh my God, the next one. How are we going to find? But of course, now we're like, well, I wonder what else we could do.
We actually,
you know?
I just want to let you know that I did talk to Nick Jones of Pot of Thunder about possibly doing maybe something Christmas.
Like a Christmassy one.
Don't know. Maybe it could be Christmas in July, or it could be around Christmas season. I don't know. So let's see. We're going to experiment and try this. We've proven we can pack a house.
Yes, that's it. We've proven we can, because we advertised a lot, and you certainly just, made everybody feel so comfortable and said, please come. I think a lot of people felt like they were personally invited by you, which they were. And that's what made it so awesome. It wasn't just a show up randomly. It was like, I, Steve, or I, Rebecca, we really want you to be here. And that came across just in the kind of guests that we had and the way they stayed. They all just felt a personal connection to the whole event. So that was the best part.
I just want to, and we want to thank all the sponsors that supported us. We want to thank all the podcasters who let us be on their shows or who promoted it. And that was really cool. And it was a diversity within the podcast world of people that were also promoting it, from progressive to ex-Mormon to conservative Mormon podcasts that allowed us to promote this program. Crazy. So it was really awesome. And then the second thing that happened was, of course, I coordinated it because Saints Unscripted contacted me.
That's right.
And Saints Unscripted is one of the leading YouTube programs for LDS youth, for the Utes.
The Utes and the youths.
And so we had a fantastic interview yesterday, and they said, the camera guy, who's a frequent host, even said, this is one of the funnest interviews we've done in a long time.
Oh, that's awesome.
They had a blast. They had a really fun time, and I had a great lunch with David Snell, the main host, afterwards.
Right.
And, the More Good Foundation, I want to thank you for having the second evangelical come on your program. Jeff McCullough was the first. And I'm already talking to them about other evangelicals that can come on their program. Because the most important thing is we want to have dialogue between our communities. Right. Whether you believe in God, whether you're an atheist or not, a lot of atheists say the reason why there's all these problems in these worlds is all these sort of religions are fighting each other. We're like, what if we're the ones that are trying to get them to talk to each other? So I would hope that an atheist would even appreciate the work that we're trying to do as well, in regards to vis-a-vis my channel and me being an evangelical, reaching out to people. And so it's been quite an adventure. The nice thing about it was I stayed here for 10 days. Yeah. So it wasn't like intense. Like I was busy all the time. I got a lot done. Right. But I was able to get a good night's sleep most nights. I wasn't trying to, I wasn't burning at both ends of the candle or whatever like
just
that.
Rushing from thing to thing. But the thing I have to say is, so Steve had certain things that he was going to do and things that he knew he was going to do. But then it's like he's communicating with me every day. It's like, hey, so-and-so just reached out, or I just found this opportunity. And so having that extra time let you just kind of weave your way around, and so many people found out, oh my gosh, you're in town. Right. And so, for example, tonight we didn't know that we were going to come to the Debra Bonner Gospel Choir, but it worked out. And we didn't know that after that we're going to go to, if you remember, previous guest Gaynor Brunson of the Brunson Brothers Trumpet Band. We are going over to his studio that's awesome. To see some of his cool memorabilia and be in the studio.
And before I was here, I had a press pass for the BYU basketball game. Yeah. This is all stuff. None of that was planned. None of that was planned.
So it's just awesome. You're like Forrest Gump. You're just like and that's a compliment. I mean it in the way that when Steve comes to town, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, right?
No, I never do.
It's amazing. And such fun content. That's what makes me happy, is that everybody in your audience is going to get to see the different things that you did. Yep. Like Steve and Maven and I taped an interview.
That was awesome.
In my co-host on Mormonish, Landon Brophy, his upstairs bedroom. I mean, just crazy. We're driving around in his truck. We're hauling gear. We're setting stuff up.
And speaking of gear, she had walking gear because one leg doesn't work.
It was like a pirate with one leg at this point because of a surgery. And I mean, it was just a comedy of errors. It was literally just like a road trip. We filmed this awesome content, had so much fun. And now you guys know the backstory, and you're going to see the amazing interview at some point. So that's what makes it fun. I love it.
And that's the key thing, folks, is that, I try not to make too many plans. I just have a general outline. And then I feel like God just books the rest. And he's like, okay, there's the outline. Okay, now let me do the booking for you.
God is in charge of your appointment book. Apparently, I love it.
I know. It's pretty crazy. And so, I don't know. I had a real blast. And I think what we're going to do is, are we just going to go and walk now to the choir?
Yeah,
we want to do that just like as we're filming?
Yeah, we could take that in if they're singing. I know they have some kind of business, but I think maybe if we can hear them singing, or we can turn off and turn back on. I don't know. Let's listen for a minute. You know what? I think I hear singing.
Let's go check it out.
We're going to walk. Let's go.
All right. So here we go. We're going to go and check out the Browners. Oops. There we go. Okay. We'll see. Maybe they are singing. If not, we'll have to splice this out.
Right through here.
So what they do is they play a song that they haven't heard before, and now they don't actually use music. They actually kind of just all hear the song, and then they all kind of sing it out and decide what their parts are going to be. And it's all done very, like, it's kind of like how I do my show, fly by the seat of your pants. And it's very spontaneous, which is what I really like. And so it's a beautiful thing. So this is the Bonner family?
This is the Deborah Bonner Unity Gospel Choir. It's an LDS
LDS Gospel Choir.
It's associated with the Genesis group, if you know what that is.
Yeah,
which is the
African-American group.
African-American ward. And so, and they perform all over the place, and this is just one of their little practices. So really cool.
So we're giving you the inside. This is how the music is made. This is how they do it. And it's a diverse choir from people from backgrounds like Tom, Rebecca's husband, was saying. So a lot of these people might come from a Pentecostal background or a Baptist background, and they're LDS converts, right?
Yeah.
And so they're bringing their tradition to the table, adding to the choir. And so I think that's really cool because, of course, this all sounds a lot like the church I grew up in.
You recognize the first song.
The first song they're singing,
Steve said, "Oh, I know this song."
Exactly. So it's just a beautiful, wonderful thing. You know, the more and more time I spend with my homies, the LDS homies here in Provo and Orem and Salt Lake City, I realize that we're so similar. Rebecca, anything else you want to say?
I just, I still say the night is young. Who knows what else will Steve do? We don't know, but you guys will hear about it, that's for sure, because he always has his viewers in mind whenever he does.
All right, folks, you heard it here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And just remember the most important thing, all the voices of the restoration will be heard here on Mormon Book Reviews.